Good evening. Welcome to the Private Property Farming Podcast. My name is Mbali Nwoko, and thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday evening. It's a bit cold in Joburg where I am, so I hope you're watching us all tucked in the couch or in the bed, but most importantly, being warm and having a drink of your coffee or tea. Today's episode is a special one as well because I get to speak to another thriving entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur in the agricultural sector. It's always great to speak to young individuals who are moving and shaking in the agri industry. And our topic this evening specifically is all about how to get investments in farming. And our guest tonight has a very, very different model that is certainly disrupting the industry. And if you have any questions on how to invest in a stockpile within the agricultural sector, or how to be part of a stockpile or invest assisting a farmer with their production inputs, and how do you get your money back in monthly installments or in monthly income, I think this show is for you. So therefore, if you have any questions for our guest this evening, please drop them in the chat box in the comment section, like, share, comment, and most importantly, please keep supporting the Private Property Farming Podcast and all the other podcasts that we have on the private property home, because we bring such great content, not only in farming, but also to do with property. And so without further ado, I just want to introduce Sinethemba Dleke, who is the founder of SD Farmlink. Sinethemba, how are you doing? And thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. Good evening. I'm feeling well and I'm very excited with this interview. Hopefully we are going to bring in some insight and a new way of doing things in farming.
Wow, yeah, I see you've got all this branding around you. It seems like you're very passionate about your business. Let's just start off by telling us, what is SD Farmlink and how did it start?
Just community development as well. So I decided to start this farming stockpile, and also not just to develop myself, but also to assist young farmers, because I started the project in a very difficult way. I didn't have any resources, I didn't have any capital with me. So my journey turned to a stockpile whereby I wanted to assist other farmers as well, so that they don't go through the difficulties I went through when starting the business.
Right. So tell me, you said it's actually a farm, so it sounds like it's a mixed production farm, right? Are you sole owner of the farm, Flagstaff, or are you part of a cooperative that's farming these different commodities?
No, I'm a sole owner of the farm.
All right. So, and how many hectares are you producing on in terms of crops? How many poultry do you have? How much chickens do you have? The livestock? Just tell us a bit about your operations.
Okay. We are occupying 200 hectares of land, but the production we are producing, we have two structures that mainly fit in about 10,000 chickens. And also we do layers as well. And we have chickens that we sell, broilers and Cornish chickens. Those ones, they don't really stay on the farm because they are sold on a daily basis. They just come and go as we order them. So for the egg layers, we have about 3,000 layers at the moment that have laying good eggs for us, fresh produce. Some are free. We have about 500 that are free range layers, and then the others are caged. So, and then in terms of the crops, we've got land space that we are utilizing for cabbage, spinach, potatoes, and peppers. So part of the land we divided into sections. And then also the livestock part, we've just fenced a small portion of the farm so that our livestock can move around, because we don't want them to roam around the fields. So that is the total setup of the farm.
Right. And then you mentioned working with other farmers. How are you working or collaborating with them in the area?
Yeah, okay. What we do, if maybe, let's say, for instance, we are out of stock maybe in cabbage, or we're out of stock on chickens, we are able to communicate with other farmers. We stock from them, we sell on their behalf as well. And then if maybe there is a high demand, or we get a big order that we are not able to cater for, so we are working hand in hand with other farmers as well, so as to deliver services to the people all the time. Because we do crop rotation. Sometimes we only plant cabbage, sometimes we only plant potatoes. So maybe there's a need at the time for cabbage, and we only have on the soil potatoes. So that's whereby we are working with other farmers, local farmers, because most farmers are struggling with the market and selling their products. They do plant, they have quality produce, but then the market is a challenge for most of the farmers. So we come in because that is not a problem to us, because we have a good clientele. And my background is in sales and marketing. So before I even started farming, so that's where I specialize in, and we don't have challenges when it comes to selling our crops and our livestock.
Yeah, and let's talk about your background, because they often say that young people don't have an interest in being in the agricultural sector. What made you go into the agri industry?
Like I've said at first, it was just I was passing time at the time because I was in between jobs. Yeah. So I saw a gap, because when you are doing something, you have to research about it. Even if it's a small business, you have to research about it. You have to see yourself fit in the industry that you are in. So as I was doing my research, I noticed that there are few Black and young farmers that are in the industry, and there's a lack of mentorship to farmers that are starting in, and there's a lot of opportunities that you can come across when you are a young Black farmer, especially in rural communities like Flagstaff, because it's a small town with no robots, just one street. So there's a lot of time to expand and to get opportunities to attract investors in your community and do a lot of development. So that is basically what made me to say, okay, you know what? As much as I was just starting something to pass time, but now this is a business. And I've also grown from a farming background. My grandfather was a farmer, and even my dad was a farmer before he passed on. So I wanted to continue with that cycle because I do have a background. Then now I started educating myself, online courses and ebooks. They are very helpful as well. So I wanted to equip myself. Then that's where the stockpile side of things came about, because I have a sales and marketing background. So I wanted to sell a product to people. And I wanted to have a corporate approach to farming, not just farming as a project, but a corporate approach whereby I am able to make a living out of this business. So that's where SD Farmlink stockpile came about. And we were out of, we didn't have funds at the time. So we grouped with other farmers as well. So we said we created this stockpile to assist each other. If maybe, let's say, we want to increase the number of chickens that we have. So we would club in money. This month we give you, we take terms. This month we give you 200 broilers, we give you feed, we give you the equipment. Then the next month it's someone else's turn, you see. So that's when the stockpile started. And then I saw the gap, it's just 5 of us. Why not expand this and introduce it to other people as well? Because people might need this model that we have, and we believe it is a great model that other people can use in their communities as well, besides even just joining SD Farmlink here, but they can do it themselves. So we started doing that, and yeah, like we have been having steady growth ever since, and new people want to join and they want to invest in the business. Some of them, they want to be part of the business as well, as we are a developing stockpile.
Right. That is a fantastic initiative, Sinethemba. Maybe just break it down. You said you started as a group of 5. Give us just the break it down in the most simplest terms. You started as 5 individuals. How much were you contributing a month? And because you mentioned those examples to say, if someone needs layers and feed, we would give the person the amount. How did you go about doing due diligence, making sure that Umbali, that money that she gave, she doesn't run away and maybe pay her debts and not buy feed for her chickens? Like, so just give us, in reality, like as a team of 5, how much were you paying a month? Was it rotating to each farmer every month based on the need? And how were you just keeping record and making sure that, the money wasn't used for something other than farming?
Okay. Well, then our stock fell as much as we were contributing cash, but when we are doing the payout, we were not paying out cash to the candidate that is deserving for that month. We're giving them farming resources, a small package that you can use: broilers, feeders, drinkers, infrared lights, sawdust, vaccines. So in small quantities, so that you know that you're not going to take the money and do something else. You get the actual equipment. We buy the supply and then we give you. So that's how we maintain the level of making sure that the person performs and works according to our agreement as the stock fell.
And
then a month we were contributing 500 per person. And then there was a monthly target. Maybe someone, if you want value-added services, let's say you want more feed, more bags of feed, you want maybe more broilers or layers, then you will have a target of 1,500 to increase the capital that you are going to work around with. So that's how we started. And then from there, we saw that some people, as the stockpile expanded, we saw that some people are living in the urban areas, but they are interested in farming. They don't have the time, the resources, or the skills to do the farming. And then also, we have a big plot of land, but we didn't have funds at the time to utilize the whole space. We were just using a small portion of our land. Then in order for us to expand, we decided to say, okay, let's just have a cash investment option whereby people pay in 2,500, and then we work around with that money, and then we produce and sell, and then we give the client back the profit, and then we keep the initial amount invested, and then we make a continuous cycle for a period of 12 months. So that's whereby that's when the cash investment option came about, because we saw that people want to invest, but they don't have the time to do the farming, and then we do everything on their behalf. For instance, we sell chickens on their behalf, we grow and sell broilers, or we plant with the money. It depends which gap or which season it is. Then we use the money depending on the needs of the farm at the time.
Yeah, because my follow-up question from what you were saying is that I wanted to ask then, if an investor in the urban area is sitting and says, I've got 10,000 Rand, how do you then decide how that money is used? What if that investor says, Sinethemba, I'm passionate about crops. The people in my community need to eat. So can you use this 10,000 for planting cabbages, for example? And let's say you're not in that cabbage season. Then do you say to the person, okay, then this 10,000, please keep it for the next 4 months, because in the next 4 months, we will be in that season to farm cabbages, and also linking it to the market that you currently have?
Yes, the client might want their own needs, but it depends on us. Which gap do we have at the moment? If we've got a gap, maybe a high demand for chickens, we will take the money and use it for chickens. If the client is passionate about crop farming and the season doesn't agree with them, the reason for investing is to generate income. So we cannot force matters and say we are going to use it for crops, of which we know that it's off season, and even now it's winter time. So it's a little bit off season. As much as we want, we are able to plant at this time, but the produce is not as good as when it's summer and it's raining and all of that. So we use the money according to the demand at the time. And then it also eliminates the risk for the client, because sometimes you say, okay, I want to specifically invest my money in crops. And then there's a hail and storm. So which means your investment will be damaged and it will be affected. But now, if we know that you will use your investment according to our terms, we will know that at least this, we will be able to manage the risk if maybe we see them in time. We'll manage them without even having to go through the trouble of seeing things and when it's already late to mitigate the risk.
Right. Let's talk about those risks. I'm glad you mentioned crops, and then there's hail and storm. What happens to a umbali that has put in 10,000, you've planted crops, and then there's a hail and storm? Or what happens to a Jan who has invested 50,000 in the chickens, and then, like what we're seeing now in the poultry industry, there's an influenza going around, killing all these chickens. What happens when there's a virus coming in? So how do you manage that loss or that risk with the clients who have invested in SD Farmlink?
Okay. We have multiple streams of income through farming. For instance, we're not only doing crop production, we are not only doing poultry. In poultry alone, we are doing day-old broilers. We have a hatchery. On poultry alone, we are doing live chickens, slaughtered chickens. In poultry, we are doing egg layers, so we are selling eggs. So you can see that there's 3 streams of income under poultry. So what we do, the business is able to back itself up. If maybe there's a problem in vegetation, at least we'll cover up with the poultry income. If maybe there's a pandemic of this influence that is happening in the chickens, we will sell day-old chicks to clients. So if maybe they catch the flu, they won't be on our premises, they will be with the client that has bought or with the customers that has bought from us. And then we will take that money and try to catch up the clients that are due to be paid out that month. So that is some of our risk management plans that we have, because there are a lot of risks in farming. And we also have new clients coming in, so we are able to utilize demand. That's why we don't want to specify where your money is going within the farm, because we don't want you to cause panic to say, okay, fine, my money is in poultry. So there's a problem with poultry, there's an influenza that is coming in. So you would want to withdraw. But if you don't know where the funds are going inside, then what you should focus on is getting your payout, because we always make it a point that we do pay out. But if there are matters that are out of our reach or we are not able to mitigate the problem at the time, in our contract, we do have a clause that says the clients should give us a cooling off period, maybe 30 days, in fact, just to work out a plan and see how are we going to make the payouts. We are going to make the payouts definitely, but maybe they might be delayed due to a certain problem. We won't say, okay, fine, your chickens, the money that you invested in chickens, all your chickens are dead, so you won't get anything. No, we will mitigate and try to find a solution, but you have to give us a 30 days grace period, and then we work out something for you.
Right. So break it down to us, because now I hear Sinethemba, the farmer, doing mixed production, and then you're bringing on investors, people who have the aspiration or who have the passion and love for farming, but don't really have the time, and they've got additional surplus funds. They're investing in SD Farmlink. Then there's a stockpile concept. So I believe, am I correct in saying that the stockpile concept is for farmers who want to increase their production at the farm, and then the investment is just for individuals who want to invest in agriculture?
Yes.
And am I correct to saying that, let's say, with the investors, right, that want to invest, do you then work in that stock file that's already there with different farmers, do you then say, okay, this investor's money can maybe be plowed in Jabu's farm, for example, or does all the investments made go specifically to your farm in that 200 hectare?
Yeah, all the investment that come in, they develop and grow SD Farmlink. They are basically for SD Farmlink. And then the one for resources, the structure for resources whereby a client gets equipment, that one is to grow other farmers as well. We're not only giving them just the equipment, we are also giving them mentorship. We are also buying back from those farmers. If maybe, let's say, we know that Jabu is planting crops there, and he has got about 3,000 cabbages, and then we know that we want to sell, so we are able to buy back from Jabu, and then we sell on their behalf, and then we give them back the profit. That's how we assist them. But the money from investors is specifically for SD Farmlink, and so that we can be able to control all the cash flow, the challenges, and profits that come in ourselves.
Okay. So my last question, just basically on the stockpile side, is it only based with farmers? Can only farmers in the Eastern Cape join the stockpile, or are you open? So like, for example, can a farmer like myself in Johannesburg be part of the stockpile? And I'm not necessarily farming chickens, but I'm doing vegetables. And I would say, Sinethemba, I need maybe 10 bags of fertilizers. So is it open to farmers not residing in or farming in Eastern Cape, or is it just purely for your province?
It's not open to, but it's not close to, because because when you are in Joburg, the constraints of delivering your fertilizers, we sometimes you have to work out your budget, work out how much are you spending for this transaction, or how much is this going to cost you. So it depends how far are you. We are able to say, for instance, Kokstad is in KZN, right? But it's 100 kilometers to KZN. At least we can be able to cater for Kokstad. So and then other towns are closer, but they are not that far as much as they are not in this province. So we try to check the cost of transportation, of buying and delivering to you, and then what is the market, how much do they cost from your town, and then how much do they cost from here. So we don't just enter into a transaction because we want to offer a service, because sometimes you have to be wise when you are entering into a transaction. So some people that want crops or they want chickens, we limit them because we don't want to cater for everyone, and then we see that no, we are running at a loss. Transporting and delivering, and petrol alone from here to Joburg is a lot. So we limit it to here, but sometimes when someone wants to join the cash investment, that is an online transaction. Everything is done online, meetings are done online, the payments are done online, everything is done online. So there's nothing you are going to do hands-on. We are doing the production this side. So that client, we can be able to take them, whether they are even out of the country, we are able to take them. But for the equipment side of things, we try to analyze the situation first, then we can assist that person.
On that equipment part, Sinethemba, going back to me, the farmer in Joburg, can't I still be part of the stockpile and say, I still need 10 bags of fertilizers. Here's the quote from the supplier. You pay the supplier in Joburg, and then the supplier just delivers to me, but I'm still part of the stockpile. Wouldn't that work? Or do you already have agreements on the ground in your province with input suppliers where you're getting stock, I suppose, in a discount, whatever? Because I hear you talking about logistics, but when I'm thinking about it, it's like, I still want to be part of the stockpile, but maybe, I can give this a quote, you pay the supplier directly, and then I get the products, and then I keep paying my monthly contribution. Couldn't something like that work?
Yes, we do have that in place. For instance, we get our feed from Mido. Mido is in PE, and it's about it's about 500 kilometers from here to PE. So we have a contract, and we have someone that is working for us in that area. So we do have people in place. Ipoh is in King Williamstown, so we have people working for us in King Williamstown that are more of, how can I put it, depots for our stockpile. So if someone wants to communicate with them, they can communicate with them from that side. Then we try to check the pricing. We try to check how with the suppliers in that area. So that person is our representative in that town. So we do have people like those in those towns. And yeah, we are looking to expand to go to other provinces as well at a bigger scale. And then we could say, okay, fine, we do have a depot in Joburg. We do have a depot in Cape Town or Durban. Then we can be able to cater for people in that area.
Right. Thank you so much for that clarity. So let's just talk about that investment, the investment part. You said the investor invests online, and then they can obviously communicate with you. Sorry about that. I'll just give you a second.
Okay.
We just lost you for a bit. But let's just talk about that investor. You said the investor invests online, and then they're part of your monthly communication, etc. What is the minimum term for investment? So is there an investment option for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year? How does that look like?
Okay, we've got a contract in place for 12 months. And then at the end of the term, the client can be able to reinvest at the end of the term, or as the period goes, the client can be able to top up their investment. Say maybe they want to increase another amount, maybe put in another 2.5 on top of their amount. Then we allow things like that.
Okay, we can still hear you. I see that you're having a visual problem. Apologies.
Yeah, my battery's getting low.
No problem. We won't keep you on for too long, but I think you're giving us so much value of information, and it's just great to hear the initiative that you're doing within SD Farmlink. So just quickly, just clarify on that point to say the different terms of the investment.
We have for 12 months an investment for 12 months, like I've said. If the client pays in 2,500 for 12 months, we are able to give them 500 each and every month for a period of 12 months. And then the terms and conditions are very simple. You pay in the money, and then we give you a membership fee. A membership form. You pay in the membership fee of 300 Rand when you are first joining for the first time with SD Farmlink. It's more of administrative fees. And then we take the money, we open a file for you, and then we stock with the money. Let's say if you are going to sell chickens on your behalf, we stock for 2,500. You'll be able to get around 30 Cornish chickens. Then we take those Cornish chickens, we sell them on our market, and then we give you the profit on a monthly basis after 30 days, though, because at least we need about 30 days to generate income. And then after 30 days, on the 10th of each and every month, it doesn't matter which date you joined, but on the 10th of each and every month, it's whereby we make our payouts.
Right. If you're joining us this evening and just catching us, we're speaking to Sinethemba Dleke, who's the founder of SD Farmlink, and we're talking all things farming investments, stockpile, and just how he runs his operation in his community, and also how he's working with other farmers in the stockpile to grow and increase their production, as well as just creating an agricultural ecosystem for young farmers who are struggling with market, most importantly. The last two questions that I have with you for you, Sinethemba, is firstly, what are your markets looking like? Are you selling to retailers, abattoirs, to informal markets? Do you have guaranteed off-takes for them so that, you know, the investors' investment is secured?
Okay. We are working with retailers in our area, and also we are working with different type of customers. Walk-ins, we do have people that are walking in, we do have people that are stocking from us, and also we use government pension grants on the first also. So we are selling to those people as well, because that is a big market for us, and basic market, because we've got a term for them, this Tata Badala. So they buy on credit and come and pay the next month. So those are our I would say they are our basic customers, or our basic market, because on a monthly basis, we know that we have to cater for them. So we also running the school nutrition programs. Schools are stocking from us fresh produce, depending on what they need. And also we are working with, as you can see in our communities, that there are a lot of shops, plaza shops, these owned by foreign nationals. So what we do, we try to communicate with them. If you speak to one person, then you'll see that they have about 5 shops on its own. So what we do, we speak to them, and then the network just spreads. That is good market. I would even advise people to use them in their communities as well. It's part of your marketing. To market your products, you network with people. You go to places where you see that your business fits. If you see that there's a need in their shops for chickens, for live chickens, you slaughter them, you sell it there. If they can buy on credit, they are good payers. So that's how we generate our customer base.
Wow, that's fantastic. I like the fact that you are using literally what's on the ground, because typically people say, I want to start farming, and then how do I get into retail? But just overlooking the fact that retail is not the only customer. There's so many other avenues to sell our products. But lastly, Sinethemba, I think you've been so phenomenal in today's podcast, is what's the vision for SD Farmlink? And where do you see yourself growing in the near, short and long term?
Okay, our vision is to grow as the business, is to have equipment to work and produce more. We want to practice organic farming. We want to have a good environmental impact with our products. We want to create jobs, as we have created jobs already in our community. Because we've employed about 10 people, and then we also have permanent people, and also we have casual staff that come depending on the season and what we are going to do at the time. And also, we want to make a footprint, assist young Black farmers out there, and empower women in agriculture as well. We don't want to do this stockpile whereby someone puts in their cash in the stockpile. We want to do grants to people. We are looking for support from the government to give us a lump sum, so that we can work with that amount and be able to give people grants. So we are looking for donors, not just investors. We are also looking for donors. So the vision for SD Farmlink is to expand, grow, and work together with other farmers, uplift those farmers, because people enter farming and they get lost in the way. So we want to mentor those young farmers. There are huge losses in farming, and people are losing a lot of money because there's a lack of mentorship. So we want to mentor those people. We want to work with them into this journey. We want to create branches of SD Farmlink all over the country. And the list is endless, because there's always room for growth. And we believe that we do have the potential to expand and grow.
Wow, fantastic. All the best with SD Farmlink. And I'm sure post this conversation, a lot of people will be reaching out to you. And this is great things that you're doing. And it's also inspiring to me to see another young individual really taking all the opportunity for taking advantage of all the gaps that are available in the market and creating opportunities for them, and also assisting or allowing it to benefit other farmers as well, and not only yourself. But thank you so much for your time this evening, and all the best for your running for Mr. South Africa.
Thank you so much. Yes, thanks for having me as well. I hope that this interview will be able to touch and change a lot of people's perspective towards farming. And also, we are available on social media, SD Farmlink, on Facebook, and on Instagram, SD_Farmlink, and even my page, because I do have a number of followers, so I'm able to offer people the information. We do have a website at www.sdfarmlink.co.za. And then we are available on email for communication, info@sdfarmlink.co.za, or you can call us at 047 3305
Yeah, we can get your details post this interview and just add it onto the show notes in the YouTube channel. But thank you so much for your time this evening. That's it for tonight. We were just speaking to Sinethemba Dleke, who is the founder of SD Farmlink, a young, thriving entrepreneur, agri-entrepreneur in the Eastern Cape, who is currently farming and mixed production, crops, livestock, as well as poultry. Furthermore, he has created a stockpile that is assisting farmers to gain access to inputs at a much lower or negotiated price, so that they can increase their business operations. Over and above that, he's also created a platform for individuals like yourselves at home watching, who want to invest in agriculture or who want to be part of agriculture and the food security value chain, but really don't have time to farm and get your hands dirty. And he's got a model that will assist you to say, should you give us X amount of money, we are guaranteeing X amount of returns on a monthly basis. And that's all done digitally on their website. Please check them out on SD Farmlink, and that's how you connect. You get a contract as an investor, and it'll explain all the terms and conditions with you. And I'm glad that he's also dotted the I's and crossed the T's by looking at all the risk factors that occur in farming, and how he's managing that or solving that problem is creating a mixed farming operations where your revenue will not be only used on one source or commodity or income stream on the farm, but could be diversified, so that he ensures that your investment still is intact. If you missed tonight's episode, please watch it on our YouTube channel under the Farming Podcast playlist in our private property YouTube channel. And get in touch with Sinethemba if there's any questions that you'd like to ask him directly. He did say his details, and just find him on Facebook, on other social media platforms, SD Farmlink, and contact him if you will. But thank you so much for joining us this evening. This is a good night for me. See you next week, Tuesday. Have a lovely Friday and a good weekend ahead. Take care.